Hello, I'm Richard Fletcher. I'm here with Wolves reporter Tim Spiers, and it's Burnley tomorrow. Now, of course, we've got the huge game against Watford coming up, but being Nuno, we'll focus one game at a time, and first one being at Turf Moor tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Everybody's so excited about this Watford game. Tickets all sold out. Fans just cannot wait for that day to come. Journalists as well getting very excited, and the players as well. It'll be hard for them to put that to one side and concentrate on two, important games this week. Let's not forget, if Wolves don't beat Watford next week, then if they desperately want to finish seventh and get into Europe, then it's an important week of two games. So Nuno will be livid if the players take their eye off the ball and get beat by Burnley and Man United, and then he might have a bit of a selection dilemma on his hands for Watford, and that's what he'll probably be telling them. If you don't play well, if you don't perform in your bread and butter league games, then it puts your place in jeopardy for Wembley. I think that's the route that he'll kind of go down. But yeah, as we know, Nuno very much concentrating on the next game, and like I said, it's an important one, and it'll be a tough one.
Yeah. Now in the reverse game at Molineux, it was only 1-0 to Wolves, but it could have been about 7. They absolutely battered Burnley on that day in September. Probably be different tomorrow. Burnley, sort of stronger outfit at Turf Moor. They've turned their season around slightly. What kind of test could we expect for Wolves?
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that game. I think that Burnley had just been dumped out of the Europa League not far before that, and obviously we know they struggled to combine the two, which is one, if Wolves do get in that competition next season, that's one to not repeat. So yeah, very different game that day. They should have won 4 or 5-0. Tomorrow, as you say, a really tough test. Burnley are in a dogfight. They are 2 points ahead of Cardiff in the relegation zone. Cardiff have got a game in hand, and they play each other in a couple of weeks. And looking at Burnley's fixtures, it really stresses the importance of tomorrow's game for them, because they play Wolves, Bournemouth and Cardiff in their next 3, and then their final 4, they've got Man City, Chelsea, Everton away, and then Arsenal, I think, on the last day. So they'll be targeting, we know, these next 3 games as 7 points, because it's going to be such a struggle for them to get any points from their last 4 games. So a massive run, and at home they will fancy their chances, and they'll fancy their chances of kind of catching Wolves off guard tomorrow, and it'll be a good atmosphere. We know how they'll play, quite a rugged, direct approach. You've got Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes up front. Both got a decent goal record this season, considering Burnley's struggles, so particularly Ashley Barnes. So the key will be stopping the supply to them, I would have thought.
And team selection-wise, can we expect Nuno to possibly rotate, knowing that the semi-final's coming up, or will he sort of stick to the tried and trusted?
Really interesting dilemma for him this week. What does he do? I guess he kind of needs to identify, because he hasn't got a big squad, that's the way he wants it. They could all play 3 games in a week. He could pick his first 11 for all 3. They can do that. However, you want them as fresh as possible for that, obviously, for that massive game on Sunday. So what does he do? When does he rest players? We've seen him go kind of 3-4-3 when he's tried to mix it up. We saw it, I think, Shrewsbury away was probably the last time when he took Jimenez out, and we saw how much they struggled that day until Jimenez came on. Jimenez is the focal point. He's just been away with Mexico. A lot of travel time for him. Can he do 3 in a week? But he's got to kind of pick and choose. Ideally, they go to Burnley, full strength 11 tomorrow, get the win, and then you could rest a few for Man United, knowing the pressure's maybe off a little bit. They could potentially open a bit of a gap to Watford tomorrow. Watford play Man United away. Ideally, they get the win. They've got about 3 or 4 points gap between them and 8th place, and then we'll see a few changes for Man United, but I don't think he'll stretch to the under-23s. I think we'll be looking at his core 18-man squad rotated as much as he can. If you're looking at players that can play all 3 games, I mean, Conor Cody hasn't missed a minute all season.
Incredible,
You'd expect him to play all 3. You'd expect Matt Doherty to play all 3. Probably Willy Bolly. I'd say maybe Romain Saiss could feature in defence or midfield. We know he'll be in defence tomorrow because Ryan Bennett is suspended. And you can put good money on Ryan Bennett coming in for Man United on Tuesday. So you can see little things here or there. They've got players on the bench that are in form. Traore's looked good in recent weeks. Caballero. Gibbs White's had a couple of good substitute appearances as well. Vinagre did extremely well against Cardiff. So he has got good options on the bench, and I think it'll be key to how he makes the most of those in a testing week.
It shows how far Wolves have come when we're considering resting players for Manchester United at home.
Well, yeah, totally. I mean, it sort of gets in the way a little bit, that game. You want a free week for this to prepare for Watford. We just played Man United at home, obviously, and got the result of the season there. So it'll very much be a kind of after the Lord Mayor show for that one. But it'll be a full house at Molineux, expecting the team to put on a performance there as well. So, but I think if you asked most fans, would they take a tally of 0 points from these two matches if it meant beating Watford? I think most would take that. But obviously, Nuno completely different.
And you touched on Raul Jimenez and all the travelling he's been doing. Obviously, most Wolves fans are hoping they sign him up permanently in the summer, and that's something that looks like it could be on the cards.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, did a piece a couple of weeks ago saying it's pretty much. It's all but a done deal because all parties want to make this move happen. Jimenez so happy here. Nuno delighted with him. I think he's just surpassed all expectations really, and the fee involved, 30 million. Going rate for a striker in his prime. He's had the form of his career this season, so I'd expect it to be done before the end of the season.
And just finally thinking about that Watford game at Wembley, Wolves sell out 5 days, 33,000 tickets. First team to sell out of each of the semi-finalists. It's an incredible effort from the Wolves fans, isn't it?
It is incredible effort from the staff as well, the ticket staff.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Someone said they've been working 70-hour weeks to get process all the orders. 86 official coaches are on their way to Wembley. They're sold out. Many more unofficial coaches. You don't want to get stuck on the M6 going south that day. No. But yeah, they could have sold many more. They could have sold 50,000, and do you know what? There'll be quite a few in the corporate seats as well. So it'll be at least 33,000. Watford, as you say, haven't quite sold out yet, but it's going to be an amazing occasion. We can't wait. And
finally, prediction-wise for tomorrow's game,
I think it's going to be tight. I think you can't underestimate Burnley's motivation for this game. It's bordering on must win for them. Like I say, if you look at those fixtures, I think Wolves will be satisfied with the point tomorrow, and I'll go for 1-1.
Fantastic. Tim, Nathan Judah, and Joe Edwards will all be at Turf Moor tomorrow. For all the build-up to this one, please log on to expressandStar.com.